I'm going to look over pairs in preparation for next week, and I will put the timing in the description box as usual. I'm not going to cover all pairs that I usually do, as I feel that on a few of them I don't have a proper count to convey, and I don't want to offer something that I'm doubtful about. And also on a few of them I've lost interest because of recent price action that I haven't been able to trade. So I will try to stick with the pairs that are offering actual immediate or near to immediate trades. Also, in some pairs, I see both bullish and bearish opportunities. However, I will stick with the view that is working at this time because I want to be able to find the trades and use the current evidence that is working to find those trades. I don't want to over speculate and create too much doubt about possibilities because there are many possibilities and we really have to work with what's probable and what's likely. So I don't want to confuse myself or transmit that confusion to anyone by focusing on excessive possibilities. So I'll deal with the evidence and what is currently working and tradable. So starting with the US dollar, the DX, I'm still looking for a low near term. Very soon now, I hope. For wave 4 of wave 5 overall on the bigger picture, I think we are nearly there. I think we had a choppy A wave down in January, followed by what turned out to be a 3-wave correction, which I'll mark as B to here. And since then, we've been impulsing down. Now, there are a couple ways to look at this. It could be A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are at a low basically, and we could curl up here for another move higher. Alternatively, just looking at the lower time frame, the 4-hour of the same section, I think it's more likely that we trend down, we continue to trend down a bit more. As you can see, there's a lot of divergence coming in, which is good news. How I would look at this, how I would prefer to look at this, sorry, is that we have one more low to come. So looking at it, I'll go through it without drawing on it. So we're looking at 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So that's the end of wave 3. And now this current move here is looking like a 4th wave. It's looking corrective because the low it made is 3 waves. It's 3 waves up, 3 waves down. So I'll be looking for another move up like a flat and then to keel over and make another low. That is how I'm viewing it at the moment. So I prefer the view that we have another low because the last low down is 3 waves. I think right now it's 3 waves. Maybe you could call it 5. In that case, I'll probably go with the other move. I'm close to a low here. It's close to a low, and I want to see it confirmed. So if we don't see a new low, what I'll be looking for is an impulsive move up, which I'm expecting anyway, because if this is a flat, I'll be looking for an impulsive move up anyway. So I'll look for an impulsive move up, and I'll see if that can make a choppy correction of some sort in 3 waves for a move higher. So I'll be watching that over the next few days. So 2 possibilities, either a low could be in or one more gyration lower, which I do right now prefer. What I want to say about this as well is that I saw a sentiment index on the dollar, and we, at this present time on Friday, the bullish sentiment is only 37%. Now that's great. That's the kind of thing you want to see at turning points. You want to see a low number of bulls, preferably in the 30s or even lower would be great. It'll probably come down to the low 30s if we see another gyration. But for now, 37% bulls at this point is very good for a turn. So I am looking for one. and I want to see this turn higher for another wave up. Now, I'm not going to deal with a break right now. I can present another bullish case if we do see a move lower. I can present a bullish case even if we see crossover with the 4 and the 1, the idea of 4 and 1 intersecting. But for now, I'm looking for an immediate term low, either just above this low or just a spike below. So that's the current view on this. There's no price action yet for reversal, but you'll see we'll be there on the weekly time frame. Stocks will be at a decent low. Sentiment, bullish sentiment is low. Price action for an overall three-way move looks good. So look for the dollar bulls to return next week at some point, try to stabilize the market and move up. Actually, hold on one moment. Yeah, I would prefer to see another low. This last section looks like three waves to me. So let's look for another low. Let's look for reversal signs and an impact, an impulsive impact following this divergence and overall structure and sentiment and things. So a pair that worked out quite well so far has been Aussie US dollar. Now, sticking with what's working, as I mentioned, I'm going to use this. This is obviously range bound. I'm viewing it as a contracting pattern moving down in a D wave now. So I'll simply deal with what's been working and for what there's evidence of, where evidence is manifesting itself. And that's in the down moves here. There is no reversal on Friday, but the Thursday night projection of a possible diagonal here has materialized. Now, there are a couple ways to consider this on the short-term time frame. This is the 1 hour. I am viewing this as a down move initiated. The issue here is how to interpret this. As to me, it looks like three waves. Now, I want to interpret this now as a continued bearish pattern. Now, to do that, the best way I can see it at the moment is an impulse here, a correction, and then a move down here for a leading diagonal. So you can say this is three waves, but I would like to interpret this as more like this. So you have wave 1, wave 2, and then a leading diagonal for 1 of 3, preferably a three-wave correction here for 2 of 3, and then a rollover. So I'd like to stick with the strong bearish view at the moment that we are correcting wave 1 of wave 3. If that fails and it moves higher, I mean, the correction can be higher. Often out of leading diagonals, the correction is quite shallow, but if it moves up, I'll still continue with that view. You can probably interpret this as all of wave 1 overall. The issue I have with it is the extra set of gyrations here. To do that, you would probably need to take 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you would need to force part 5 of this leading diagonal. You'd have to force it as a kind of like own diagonal in itself. So the fifth part of this one leading diagonal would be an ending diagonal. Leading diagonal. So wave 1's leading diagonal has a leading diagonal at the end of it. So either way, I want to interpret this bearishly. I don't want to take this as some type of three-wave correction for a move higher. I would probably do that if we had seen the high here. Now, just to talk patterns for a moment. If the high had been here, I would have taken this as A, B, and then a three-wave move for C and a turn higher. But because the high is here, I want to view this as a bearish sequence. The interpretation will come about whether it's wave 1 overall or we are already in wave 3. So the correction so far has been shallow. I would like to see another swing up and see for it to fail and to reverse. So I'll be looking for bearish moves on this from Monday or Tuesday. Bearish moves, essentially. I still have some doubt about the stochastics, but I'm going to stick with what works. The month is close to ending, so I'll throw that in there at the end of the month. But for now, we'll stick with the bearish count. Okay, New Zealand US dollar. I'm still bearish on this. I'm not using this as some kind of bullish pattern, bullish flag. No. I have a bearish count up to here, A, B, and C, with the ending diagonal for C. And I'm viewing this as a series of threes. Now, what I want to stress so far is that the pattern since the September 2016 high has been in threes. It's been moving down in threes, which makes it look like it could be some kind of bull flag, but I'm going with a bearish sequence down. Now, we've already had a 3 here, and now this move is corrective. I went over this on Thursday's video, that the start of this down move is 3 waves here. As you can see, 1, 2, 3. And I was offering a kind of triangle here. Overall, that did not materialize, but the down move remains as a 3-wave decline here. So looking at the bigger picture on the daily from September 2016, we've been in threes. Just to zoom out a bit so you can see how I have it marked as in a bigger picture. I'm looking that we're in wave Y, bigger Y, and we've probably done W. We're trying to find X, and we're going to move down for Y of Y. So we have threes everywhere. What I would say is that this sequence here, this is also a set of threes. I'll show how I marked it. It's a bunch of W's, X's, and Y's here. So that's the sequence, which looks like one continuous move, but look how choppy it is. It's obviously corrective. So just going over this in the clearest way possible. 3, 3, 3 for W, series of threes, and now 3. So at this point, I don't want to assume that we're going to do 4 and 5, because that seems to me somewhat out of order. Now it can extend into like a double 3, but I like the idea of another correction. Now, the daily candle is weak, but it looks like it could muster some kind of further move up. I do like the idea that we've had 3, we see a spike to another 3, and then capitulate. So that's, right now the trend is down. The bears, I would say, have it overall, and I'm expecting dollar strength to come back in. So some sequence like, if this is corrective, we could, if it moves up, I'll be looking for a new high and to roll over. I don't really care about the trend line so much. I will be looking for it to roll over in some manner. It could extend a bit higher if it decides to. Or if it fails here, I would try to come up with some other pattern, but right now I see this move as corrective. So some kind of bounce up further at the moment. I don't have a trade in this yet, because I was looking at this as a 3-wave initiation. So far it's materialized, it has not impulsed down, so I do like the idea of a bit higher in this pair for now, in some manner. If it fails here again, there'll be a chance to take it lower. We'll see what happens, but the view is down overall. Just keep in mind the series of threes everywhere. Okay, cable. A favorite pair for a, well, I'll just leave it as a favorite pair for now. Now what I'm looking at here is a triangle. Hold on one moment, where did all these other? Right, okay. I was wondering where those other letters came from. Okay, so overall I'm still looking at this as triangulating for wave E of the tri. The alt possibility is toward 128, 130 to create a larger 3-wave pattern here. So the whole composite would still be 3 waves overall. But for now, I'm dealing with what's immediate term and what is more likely in the present, given present price action and what's closest in time, and that is E of a triangle. So I have this as a 3-wave move up so far, a sequence of 535 up for C. And now what I'm looking at here, I still like the idea of another high overall. So overall, like the other pair, like the other swings in this triangulation sequence is a three-wave move overall like that. So I'm still looking for a bit higher into triggering Brexit Article 50 on, I think it's Wednesday, sometime next week supposedly. There have been threes everywhere in this, as you can see, all over. So I like the idea of one more three. I'm not going to bank on this seeing a high, just like the Trump presidential sequence when Euro US dollar was triangulating. I helped a friend get out of a short here because I was expecting one more move up, which materialized, and when Trump won, that happened and it reversed hard. And if you view that whole sequence as a triangle, it was expected, and minimum three was expected. So I'm maintaining the same view on cable that another high will come in, even though we've done three. What I see here, I'm marking this high as C, three waves. So this is A overall. Now this high here. So what I'm seeing overall, I'm looking at this as correction already started for A, B, and now some kind of swing here for C. So that'll be this B, and preferably one more high, and then a hard reversal after that, with dollar strength returning and the pound showing its patriotic colors and capitulating, really. So that's the outlook. As I've said for weeks, since I started to make these videos at the beginning of February, cable has been rubbish to trade, but something is coming. And there's no reason to be bullish at all. There is no reason whatsoever to be bullish on cable. Despite the possibility of a 128, 130 extension, there's no reason to be bullish. Euro US dollar, short term I have not put a count on this, but I can do it now. I can present one possibility. Again, minimum move on this, I still see above this sequence for three waves overall, so above 10828, which we have not made yet. And again, like cable, I had this as 3. This turned out to be 3, and I would look for this to be 3 as well. Maybe to 109, 110, this region. And then a turn over as well, like in cable. So far from the low, I can set this up as 5 waves correctively overall. A, B, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and then another high for 5. So that would be all of one swing for A. I would like another move and a follow through, but if there is a next high, the next high above 10828 should show weakness. The stocks are way up, so probably another gyration to follow. But for now, this sequence overall looks like it is close to being exhausted. So a bit more higher here. It looks in all 4 pairs, all 4 of these popular pairs I've just covered, it looks like dollar strength will return along with low bullish sentiment in the dollar itself. So let's see strength return to the dollar and make some money selling these pairs. Okay, I'm tired of dealing with the Canadian pairs, but I'll go through them again. I'm going to drop this idea of a flat, and it seems like the Canadian dollar strength is not yet returning, and oil itself is looking kind of weak. I don't trade oil, I'm not going to look into it. But it is somewhat correlated to the Canadian dollar. So overall for now, I'm going to look at this as a move up higher for a possible leading diagonal, as I've been over many times on the monthly. There are many leading diagonals going back in history, and I am bearish on this overall. You can see past videos if you wish from the past few days if you want to see a bit more of a talk. I think Wednesday's video had some more talk about Euro Canadian, but I'm going to drop this. There's been no impulse. We still have the chance here to see a 3-wave correction. It's not dead yet. Okay, let me rephrase this because I don't want to give up on something that has possibility. It's not dead yet, but I would want to see a decent decline out of this. We still have a very good chance here to see a correction of some sort, and I still like the idea of a move higher overall in Canadian pairs. So there is the chance for a correction. Okay, let me make this clear. This is still alive. I just don't really like it. And that counts for something in trading. So if I see capitulation, I would try to get in on it on a correction. But right now at this stage, it's not my favorite count. So let's see if we correct a bit down further before another move up. But overall, I'm going to stick right now with the leading diagonal idea and favor this actual one. I'm going to recess this actual one for now. And US Canadian, I'm going to prefer the higher move overall on the daily. Since we broke this 1-2-1-2 count, and I'm not overall favoring that this is the first 5-wave move down and that we had a 3-wave correction, I want to view this overall as higher for Z of 2 towards 138, the 61.8 level, or at least above 136, and then a turnover. On the 4-hour, I've been over this before. Yes, you can count 5 waves with a triangle for 4, but it's not my preferred view. I actually like the view more that this is not truly 5 waves because it initiated here as 3. So I prefer the view that this was A, this was B, and we had 5 waves for C. So that's A, 3 waves for B, and 3 waves for C. So I'm viewing this actually corrective as an X wave for now. If it does turn bearish, we'll probably need at least a bit more of a correction. And then it opens itself up to a move down perhaps. I'll watch for this and I will try to update if I see it. But I don't like this 5-move sequence overall, and I'm not going to take it blindly. I want to see more proof of it, because if dollar strength does return, and if the Canadian dollar doesn't quite, if strength doesn't return to it, I like the idea of Y4Z higher. So those are 2 possibilities in this. I went over this before that because of price placement in the middle of nowhere, I have to present both possibilities of bullish and bearish options. But overall, the overall sentiment in this is bearish. I am bearish on this pair because 5-wave sequence, a ridiculous correction here, and a further down move to follow. The weekly at this stage is not looking bearish either, so I'm going to stick with the bullish move up a bit higher and overall to come back down. Okay, let me just see what's next. I'm not going to do yen pairs right now. I'm going to do a separate video of US dollar yen later today because I want to go over the long-term possibilities. So I will cover that in a separate video. I'm going to do a long-term US dollar yen video back to Nixon's gold window closing period later today. 71. Okay, Canadians, pound Canadian, I'm skipping. Euro pound, I will do. Euro odds. Okay, I'll just go in literal order here. We may have a low here. I want to stay bullish on this overall. I was offering 2 possibilities long term. I'm going to stick with 3 being in. I like the idea that 5 was in. I have not adjusted the count overall from July 2015, so this data is incorrect. I just changed this part to 3, which I was marking as 5. I like the idea, first of all, I like the idea, partly because it was less popular, that this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 overall for wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, flat for 4, and slight truncation here for 5. I like that idea overall, but given current price action, I'm giving the bulls the advantage, and it looks like the bulls are going to take it. So if this was really 3 instead of 5, well, let me do the overall count. So that would change this to 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So that's 3. 4 is here, this 3-wave correction into December last year. And from this, you're going to have to force a leading diagonal for 1 of 5. 2 of 5 is here. I've got a 5-wave move here for wave 1 of wave 3 of 5. And we've been flagging correctively here. So I'm going to view this as wave 2 in. Just mark it like that for now. As wave 2 of wave 3 in, and we will see a move up. Bullish engulfing on the daily. This is okay. See if we can get a small correction. And a continued move up in euro pound. Just to present an alternate scenario, because I know some professional traders are looking bearishly on this. If you're going to assume that this is actually 5 as I initially showed, then this would be wrong button. This would be A, and now you're triangulating for A, B, C, D, E for B, and then a capitulation for C. So the whole move 5 is done. A, B, C for a correction of a B is a triangle, and C will be an impulse for a larger correction, and then move up following. That doesn't really match with some other pairs I've seen, so I like the bullish case in this now, and I prefer to go with consensus that this is just wave 3 with an extension in wave 3, and wave 5 is active and going towards parity, and that the bulls, the Brits and the pound is going to get stuffed. So we'll see. But those are the two scenarios I see, and I'm sticking with the bullish one for now. Euro, Australian dollar, probably a 3-wave move, but overall at least to this area and maybe another down move. The 5-wave sequence on this, yes, I forced a leading diagonal out of this, but hey, so what? It worked. And that's what counts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a simple 3-wave correction with a new low and a bullish sequence from that. I'll look for this to looks like this will probably extend, maybe a small correction first, another extension, but it did close within the wicks here, so we may see a short correction and another move up. I'm still expecting another move up towards 143. We'll see how the monthly closes, if it can engulf. My count overall right now is a bullish euro against Aussie with a Y completed as a possibility. Another move down would actually be even better to bring some divergence in, because the divergence of this whole sequence was killed on the last low. But I've seen this before. Bring us another low, the divergence will return, and off we go. So let's see, I like to remain bullish on this pair. It's worked so far. Let's see it continue to work. The euro currency also has it on New Zealand. This has been my second favorite pair following Aussie New Zealand. The bigger picture on this, I've been over this a bunch of times. The bigger picture on this from 2015 is that we've completed 3 large waves into, what was it, December? No, February. And since the very start of my videos here in February, I've been tracking this, and it's worked out very, very well. The only thing that has not worked, that is in question now, is the shape and the ultimate pattern and composite wave count for 4 of this impulse. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm still bullish on this. It is bullish. The only question I'm posing is the one I put into the last update of how to look at this wave 4. I tried to do this before as wave A, and then A, B, C, D, E as a try for B and C down, but that has not materialized. So I'm looking at it a little bit differently now. Now, the easiest way to look at this is a triangle overall. So you have A, B, C, D, E, and we impulse now. That's possible. I'm not viewing this as A, B, C, D, E, because this sequence for a supposed D is too big, in my opinion, for the other ones. So for this to work out, it would probably have to be A, B, C, D, E, and impulse from there. However, there's already a price cross between 1, 2, 3, 4. There's already intersection there, so I don't like this. In my view, it's more likely to have another move down before heading higher. See a bit of New Zealand strength more, like we've seen in Aussie, New Zealand, and maybe New Zealand, US dollar. This issue here is partly we may have 5 waves here, maybe, and we may have 5 waves here. So how I've marked it at the moment is for another move down. I don't mind if it doesn't do that at all because I'm bullish on this towards 158, at a minimum a new high above here. Because so far, if you want to view this as A, B, C with C truncating and not breaking this low, that's okay, but we have not impulsed from there. It's been 3 waves up. So the best I can do out of this is to turn this into an ending diagonal like that. And so we break a new high on an ending diagonal and then have a bigger correction. I like more the idea that this is going to ultimately come a little bit lower to this area I mentioned a few times and then head higher. That's just speculation at the moment, but I'm favoring it at the moment as well, because here on the truncation, there was no chance to initiate new positions. So I would like to see another low, chance to initiate new positions, and wave 5 up. Also, as I mentioned a few times, switch to the daily. If this does come down a bit more, like to 151, 150 possibly, I'm also open to viewing this as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 for a mega bullish move up. So I will entertain a 1, 2, 1, 2 sequence if we really drop down a bit more from here. I'm not just going to view this as 1, 2, 3 and a new low because of the larger pattern overall. If you look at the larger pattern, 5 waves I'm marking to here, A, B, and C from ED. So I'm not going to take this as a new low. I am looking for a new high, so I remain bullish on this pair overall. And hopefully it turns down a little bit more as this looks kind of weak. We see a bit deeper of a correction, and the previous wave 4 of 3 of 3 can then see initiation for wave 5 higher. Okay, Aussie New Zealand still looking for wave 4. The bigger picture in this, I have no reason yet to adjust the count. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've been tracking this since the very low. This is my favorite pair. It took a long time coming, but it's worked out very well. Overall, minimum high up to here for wave C, maybe something more bullish. It didn't close too badly on Friday. There's a lot of divergence. Well, there's some divergence here, but you only need some. So on the next low, I'll be looking for a reversal. I would like to see one more low because the up move so far, unless you're really going to force something, a forced leading diagonal like I did for Euro Oz, unless you're going to force something, I don't see a trade just yet. I would like to see another low. If it makes too low a low, I will adjust the count, but I have no reason for that yet. You can say, of course, that there is no support, that there is no real support in this region, and that a low is more likely into 107.50. Yeah, I can see that. I don't use horizontal support very much, or much rather, but it's possible. So towards wave one, yeah, maybe. The weekly candle is weak, but it's not really an engulfing, judging by where it initiated. Stochastics are still way up. And importantly, my favorite EMA, the ever-present, ever useful in a trending market, 8 EMA, is about to come in around 107.9. So let's see another new low, and let's see a turn higher for wave 5 of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, towards 110, 111, and then a bigger wave 4 and a new high for C overall. So still bullish, Aussie, New Zealand. New Zealand overall still looks very weak. I've been talking about that a lot. It's still weak currency. Aussie Canadian, I've covered this a lot. I'm going to be very brief here. I'm still looking at this to correct further. If with missing this trade at the top, there's still a minimum 3-wave correction to come. So see a bit of resistance up here, maybe a bit higher, and a bit of resistance and a down move. I'm not viewing this as overall being the initiation, the first step in a huge bearish sequence. This is another Canadian pair I want to see a little bit higher first. Going back to 2012, we've had 3 waves. 3 waves. I'm not going to micro label this now. It's clear as can be. I like the view that this is an ending diagonal, so I want to see a new high above, what is that? November 2016, and then a turnover and ultra strength in the Canadian dollar to come in this pair, Euro and US dollar Canadian. So the Canadian, it looks like the Canadian dollar is about to really push some, push down some other pairs. Well, the strength will come to Canada quite soon. It's a great country. I don't live there. Okay, New Zealand Canadian. Yeah, this did not work out. What I was viewing as a possible flat into here. We spiked to a new high. I was short this and got stopped out. So far it's down in 3. So I'm going to move to a higher view on this too. Maybe a leading diagonal here too. So we see 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. Maybe we'll see a leading diagonal and then a down move. This top line is rubbish. It's just there for me to remember, to be reminded of things. Overall, the down move here from 2016 is probably corrective, but that's okay because it could be the initiation of an A and a B, and then we see a leading diagonal for 1, wave 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. That's just speculation at the moment. I'm still bearish this pair overall, but it's looking like it's going to head up a bit higher. The stochastics are pointing up. The look overall on the monthly chart is downward, which is at a 3 up here. I don't right now see another high. I see this as bearish, and I would like to see a move down into the 8s. But we'll see how that materializes. If Canadian dollar does strengthen, that is likely to happen. Okay, and I think that's all I'm going to do on currencies now. Just take one more look. No yens, US dollar yen later, separate video. Pounds, not interested. Pound was difficult. A lot of my view on pound Canadian was correct overall, and same in pound New Zealand, but I could not find an entry point despite tracking it quite closely. That's just how it goes. You just have to accept it and move on. Just a moment. Okay, gold and Bitcoin. Gold first. I still want to find wave B here and head down for C. If that doesn't materialize and we just move up a bit higher, then I'm still looking a bit lower. The sentiment index right now, bullish sentiment in gold is 71%. So that's a bit too bullish at the moment. It doesn't necessarily mean anything, it's just a guide. So if we see a new high, first of all, I would take this as just a three-wave move overall, and another move down for wave 2 to here. As long as this low is not broken. Short term, just a moment. We could be in for A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 overall, and a move down now. I'm not trading this short term. I want to trade this long term when I see the chance to get in. So I still like the idea of another low, because as I've said a bunch of times now, there's no reason necessarily to assume that 2 is going to come over here. 2 can easily stay here because we've had a three-wave correction here with 5 waves for C, and this could be wave 1 of bigger wave 3. So if we do see a move down here into 1180, I will be viewing this as wave 2 in, and I'll be giving the bulls the chance to show that this is wave 1, and then we have a three-wave move for wave 2 of wave 3, and then we take off and we blow through resistance, and we truly take off, and the bull market in gold returns. That's what I would prefer to see. It would also be pretty cool to see this fall further and bullish sentiment to drop from 71 to about 30, like I mentioned in the dollar index. A lot of people probably expecting a new low on this. I don't know what a lot of people are thinking, just a guess. But there's a 5-wave sequence in 2016, 2015, 2016, and that's what I want to get in on. I'm not viewing this as wave 2 of wave 3 right now. I want to see either 3 waves and down for a bigger wave 2, or 1 of 3, correction here for 2 of 3, and then we go. We take off, it takes off, and we follow. So that's gold. Just keep in mind that at this stage, there's no reason to bet that this is going to be over here. It's done enough, but it may move over. So something still to watch for. Actually, this is kind of an update of the video I made a few days ago about having multiple viewpoints. The overall viewpoint on this pair is bullish. It just depends on the next swings, how it's going to happen. So that's why I'm presenting a bullish case from here, or a bearish case from here. But overall, there's a bullish case depending where the price is. Here, there's definitely a bullish case. Here, if it just comes down, there's a bullish case. Here, if it moves here first, there's a bearish case, but only short-term bearish. So overall, the whole picture is bullish, but short-term moves can be bullish or bearish depending where price is and overall pattern and movement, price action. Sequential order, cohesive, complex, composites, all that stuff, whatever. Bitcoin, finally. I still like the idea that this is wave 4. It's come down further than I talked about last weekend. But for now, I'm still viewing this as corrective despite the divergence in here on the weekly. Yes, it's possible this is A, B, and C done. I don't have a position in this. I missed my chance to take it here below 50. A friend of mine has a position from 200 that he's holding. He's rich. He doesn't mind what happens to it. I don't mind what happens to it either. But if we do see a slowdown and a turn, I want to get in on this for a possible new high, because as I mentioned before, if there's a new high for wave, first of all, if there is a new high, if we do find a wave 4 and there's a new high, wave 5s are the big moves in Bitcoin. It's kind of like a commodity where the fifth waves are the explosive ones. If you want to count this as fifth wave, that's the kind of thing I expect. If you look at the composite since this low, the fifth wave moves have been the big ones, here for 1 and here for 3 as currently marked. So if there's a 4 in this region, price of wave 3 returning to wave 4 of lower degree here. Actually, let me just see something. Maybe, maybe. But if it returns to previous wave 4, if there is a fifth wave to come, it will be a big type of move, doubling in price. So I'm still looking at that as a possibility, as I'm not going to short this, and I'm not going to take a trade unless there's a turn. Also, the other thing I want to repeat is that this has the kind of grand parabolic look that can really be impressive. So it's already been impressive. It's suspicious now because of all this talk in the market about Bitcoin forking, a kind of internal conflict going on that I don't know anything about and I'm not interested in either. I'm just trying to look for a trade in this. As I presented in all charts today, I'm just trying to find trades. So that's what I'm looking for now. I'm still favoring a bullish move in this. I'm not bearish here. The time to be bearish was here on a spike above 1 or A, not here where it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And one other thing I want to show before I forget, I still view this initial down move from the high, this high that I marked as wave 3, I still view this initial down move as 3 waves. So how are we going to look at this? So 3-wave beginning, A, B. I've been over this. I'm going to view this as A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. So maybe not as low as the 7s, okay, maybe to 8 something. That's the best I can do with this at the moment. I still like the idea of a turn. I'll stop repeating myself. I just want to see it come in. You see the little daily hammer? What does that mean? It's not closed. But that's the kind of thing where you have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Hold on a second. Well, it's done 5 waves here. See how this closes today, because if this closes as a bullish hammer with stocks at the low and within this area, and if the weekly can close within the wicks, within the previous wick or two, so it still has tomorrow to close as this is a 7-day market, there might be a chance here to get high. Well, there's always a chance to get high, to join for a new high later. So I'll update this next week. I'm interested in this pair now just for the potential of a huge 5th wave. I cannot really tell you a breaking point. If you take long, you have to find your own stop. There's a lot of risk in it, of course, but overall, it's 3 waves now. So it looks good to get long on this pair, I think, and it definitely looks good for another high right now. The monthly, March monthly, is above the 8 EMA. As you can see, it's the best tracking EMA in a trending market. When it trends, it hugs price. Stochastics are up. So let's see if we can turn around. Yes, this is an engulfing candle, but if it's a truly bullish market, that can be negated. I'll be interested in how this develops if this negates the count. I haven't put the effort in to put another labeling on this. I found this labeling after some work, some focus, and I'm going to stick with it now because of the idea, partly the parabolic idea, partly the fifth waves in Bitcoin are the explosive waves, and partly because news media and paranoia and fear about forking can often be overdone. If you really look, frankly, if this is A, B, and C done, this has been a really good move here. I don't know what it is in percentage terms, but still I would expect some kind of bounce and then a real turnover and Bitcoin just pukes. Like we had here back in, what was it, December 2013. I just come back from Japan and this move was underway when there was real mania in the market. That kind of thing can happen here as well. But that was corrective overall. That was a good sequence. Actually, this here, this mirrors this on a daily. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and a move up. So I do like the idea to get long. Has anyone here ever traded Bitcoin or owned Bitcoin? I have one friend here from 200. I knew another guy in Amsterdam who was holding from sub 50 back when it was, I don't remember, it was around here. So he was holding on. He said he would hold the whole way. So if we do see a fifth wave, he has a chance to see this move up towards, like I said last weekend, probably 1800. I would expect it, if it finds a wave 4 low, I would expect it to double in price from here. Okay, so that's the video. I will have a look at a long-term chart of US dollar yen later today. I want to go over the whole count from 1971 because there's a big move coming in US dollar yen and I would like to try to get in on it. It's just a question how it appears, or rather when it appears, and in what form the correction ends right now. So good luck to everyone next week. If you have any questions, let me know. If you think I've made some errors in judgment or analysis, let me know. And if you have any questions also or want to talk about anything, just send me a message. Okay, bye-bye.